Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys and girls, I'm a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. If you like all things true crime related from that police perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. And today I want to talk to you about Uvalde, the school chief, the school police chief, Pete Arredondo. Should he resign? Should he be fired? Those are the questions that are on the table, and that's what everyone's talking about in that community. A lot of people very upset with the police response to the school mass shooting that happened in Uvalde last month. It's really a horrific scene, a horrific situation. Nobody wins here. But again, before we get into it, I want to say a special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all the folks who positively engage in this community. I want to just say thank you to each and every one of you, the replay viewers, the moderators, and all of you guys. So much love and respect to each and every one of you. Sherilyn Schofner, Ryan, good to see you. Fire him right now, says Ryan Shewell. I tend to agree with that. I agree with that sentiment. And just because I was in law enforcement for so long doesn't mean that I would get behind any type of activity that I felt someone was cowardice in the line of duty. In our line of work, in the police line of work, you don't wait for someone to tell you when to use deadly physical force. We learn that in the police academy. We learn when and how to use deadly physical force. And I remember this is 32 years ago almost. I remember, and Lieutenant Pete Pranzo will tell you, we had a whole block on the use deadly physical force, when to use it, when not to use it, when it's appropriate. And at no time did it say to wait for permission from a supervisor to engage someone who is actively shooting and killing children or anyone. Our job is to protect and serve life, limb, and property. We're there to protect and serve. And that's the bottom line here. And, again, I'm looking at, the Texas state hearing. They have the police sheriff from that local area there in Uvalde, the sheriff, and he's going to be testifying at a special committee. They're billing it as a special committee to protect all Texans. You know, again, this situation, there should have been nobody on scene that had to wait to get approval when you hear gunshots going off. And it wasn't just a few gunshots, it was a lot of gunshots. And you don't sit there for 78 minutes and wait for approval from somebody. Now, if you guys think I'm off base on this, just let me know down below in the comment section. For my law enforcement professionals who are retired and active that watch this, let me know if you think I'm off base. But I'm not going to change my opinion. I just want to let you know I'm not going to change my opinion because, you know, you take the job, you put the gun, you put your vest on, you put your uniform and equipment on, and you go out there not knowing if you're going to be able to come home at the end of the day. That's part of the job, is that you take on this inherent risk of potentially putting yourself in harm's way to protect and serve the community that you are working for. So when you have multiple units on the local, state, and federal level, and the only thing that they can give to the public, and these are victims' families, victims, little tiny victims, and including two teachers. So two adults and a bunch of little kids were slaughtered that day. When you give those folks the response or the answer of we were waiting to get the okay, that's unacceptable. And I got to tell you, this is an uncomfortable conversation to be had, but it's a conversation that's needed. It's needed. So I want to again say thank you to everybody who has been positively engaging. There's so many cases that we cover. You're welcome, Eddie T. My pleasure. Um, Arletta Burney says they should absolutely be fired, and you know what? I tend to agree with you on that. A start would be with the police chief. Wiley's Pony says even if I wouldn't have waited to shoot. That's ridiculous. It is legal for a citizen with a permit to shoot a shooter. It is. If deadly physical force is being committed against you or around you, then the the law of engagement in most states is if deadly physical force is being if you can articulate that deadly physical force is going to be brought against you, or you are in fear of your life being put in danger, if you are in fear of your life being ended by a perpetrator, then if you can articulate that to a grand jury and to law enforcement, you are absolutely 100% okay with using that deadly physical force to stop it. And that's, coming from that pertains to law enforcement, but also pertains to civilians as well. Someone's coming at you with a hatchet, and the hatchet is over their head, and they're ready to take that hatchet and put it in your back or lob your head off or, stab you with a knife. You are 100% justified to go forward. Richella Pranzo, good to see you. You hope to never be put in that position, but that's not the position that we're talking about. The position that those officers were in is that they responded to a location where there was multiple shots being fired, and it was inside a school where there was little kids, and they failed to do anything for 78 minutes. I have a really hard time accepting that. I have a really hard time, buying that not one cop there, not one police officer, not one professional said to him or herself, hey, we got to shit or get off the pot. We got to do something here. And if we don't do something, more little kids and people will be slaughtered here. And for 78 minutes, think about that. Take a clock, take a stopwatch, take a clock or take a timer and let it run for 78 minutes. That is an awful long time to just be standing around and not doing anything. It just blows my mind, and I'm not trying to be dramatic here. I'm trying to say that is an absorbent amount of time, you know. So I just don't understand it, Sharon Create says 8 minutes might be excused, but not 78. I agree. I mean, listen, by a show of hands here, I think we're all on the same page when it comes to this, I think we're all on the same page with this. It is completely and utterly unacceptable what happened there. If you look at the big picture here, immediate response would be the only proper answer. An immediate response. That means one, that means two, that means three, that means however many personnel were on that scene. They should have stormed that classroom, took the gunfire. As Grady Judd says, our Grady Judd, our great Polk County Sheriff, as he said it ever so eloquently, he said, we will take the gunfire every day, all day, as opposed to the gunfire going at children. He said it so well. We as police officers will take that gunfire fired at us all day, every day, as opposed to it being fired and the children taking the shots. I highlighted that video clip from Grady Judd because what he said was so on point. And it just baffles me that not one police officer, male or female, put in their minds that, hey, there's kids being killed here. I need to go in there, whether that means me you know, taking the gunfire and me losing my life, but I got to go in there and try to do something. And this is a black eye for law enforcement across our country. It's a black eye for all law enforcement. And you can't talk to any professional, from active to retired to anything in between, that won't agree with that statement, because this is a really hard, and it's not indicative of every police officer across the country. Let me just say that really clear. There are many, many, many brave men and women that are out there that'll lay their lives, and that have laid their lives on the line protecting us. So there is many, many, I'll say it again, men and women in law enforcement that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, being brave in the line of duty, putting themselves in harm's way. I myself have witnessed myself with other members of the service in the New York City Police Department responding to calls for shots fired and running into buildings where gunfire is coming from, housing projects, housing developments where there are people shooting inside. I myself have run into those buildings with my gun drawn many a times, with my wife and my little kids at home, knowing that there could be a potential for me to be shot and killed, but that was part of what I signed up for. That was part of my job. So at the end of the day, horrible situation, horrible, you know, set of circumstances over in Uvalde. My heart breaks for the families, the extended families, the people of the community. Hi, Lee Perry. How are you? Jocelyn May, I agree. So sad. Dawn Marie, thank you for being here. Hi, Pam. My heart breaks for not only the victims' families, the families, the extended families, but everybody in that community who had, Uvalde had great respect for their police, because they counted on their police to protect them. So it is what it is. Now that whole, that whole love affair for the police, so to speak, is now gone. I listen to parents giving interview after interview on television, and the love for the police there is gone. That's going to be a heavy, high mountain to climb for those poor new officers that come in and coming up through the ranks. It's going to be very difficult for them to gain the trust of that community back. Just think about that. Think about how hard that's going to be, how hard a barrier that's going to be to get over that. It's difficult at best. Lieutenant Pete Pranzo, always good to see you, my good friend from out in Suffolk County. Thank you for coming in. The community is split, but the community is devastated. They are devastated. It's hard to believe he's not already gone, Susan King says. Thank you for the $20 super chat. This guy, Pete Arredondo, is got to be full of himself, because I would say this. He needs to step down. He needs to either step down or he needs to be fired. He needs to step down or be fired. He was cowardice in the line of duty. He said he didn't even have a radio. He purposely shut his radio off and didn't bring one because he didn't want to be distracted. Distracted from what? Distracted from not doing your job? Distracted from not taking any action or not taking any supervisory direction? He was supposed to lead the troops. Trevor Lee from East Tennessee is here. Good to see you, Trevor. Trevor Lee says it's a shame and they deserve so much better than him. I agree. I agree. Some men and women put the uniform on, go through the academy, and they just still are not cut out to do the job. And how do you find out they're not cut out to do the job? Is when they become cowardice in the line of duty. I've been in situations where gunshots have been fired and we're taking fire. And I in one of the incidents, my supervisor, my sergeant, was hiding under a car and wasn't returning fire at the location of where the gunshots were coming from. He was scared. And you know what? That cowardice in the line of duty followed him for the rest of the time I knew him. I don't even know what happened to the guy, but he was scared. He cowered it up. He got frightened. This is not a job to be frightened with. I'll bring you right back to Saving Private Ryan, the movie Saving Private Ryan, the infamous scene where the typewriter army army person, I forgot his name. He was the typewriter news writer guy. He was told by the boss to come on, get your helmet, get your gear, come on, you're going out into the field. We're going to look for Private Ryan. You remember that? Tom Hanks grabbed him and said, "Come on, let's go." So he comes out in the field, and he was a coward. He let one of his fellow army uh, servicemen get stabbed to death by a Russian soldier. It was a hard scene to watch, where he was fighting him and he was holding the thing and he was putting the thing and putting the knife into his chest, and the guy was right there with a rifle. He could have just came right in and shot him, and he just let it happen. And then that Russian soldier, a German soldier, went by him, and he just had the rifle, and he was holding it and started crying and falling down in the stairwell. That was just the most difficult thing for me to watch. But that's what I think about when I think of Uvalde. It's a crazy analogy, but that's what I think. When I think about that, I think of a bunch of guys and girls who were responding there, acting just like that movie character. They heard the gunshots and they got scared. That's not a time to get scared. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. I appreciate everybody, and congratulations to all of the new channel members. On this live stream, I'm on my mobile device, so I go and watch Saving Private Ryan, Chris. Go and watch Saving Private Ryan. Um, it's a great movie. It's a long one, but it's a good one. But congratulations to all the new channel members. I am on my mobile device, so I can't gift out any channel memberships. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload a video. Give this video a thumbs up. Share it out onto your social media platform. Saving Private Ryan. Go and watch that movie. You will not be sorry that you watched it. Just Facts says, "Thank you for telling it like it is, DutyRon. Thank you for being here and being part of this great community." I put in Uvalde News, True Crime Tribe. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Anybody new, first time watching? I know this isn't such a big crew that I normally would get, but again, this is just a difficult thing to talk about, and it is what's up in the forefront of the news and what's going on right now. Now I know that there was a situation going on in Los Angeles, California, at a couple of, I think, 3 or 4 7-Elevens had shootings go on in them, and I think 2 or 3 people were killed. That's a whole nother thing that was just breaking right before I went live. I was looking at a news conference. My head was spinning. I was going in 2 different directions. But there's a lot of craziness going on in our country at this time. But I don't have a complete detail on it. But it sounded like 3 or 4 separate shootings at 3 or 4 different locations, but all were 7-Eleven stores. I don't know what happened, if it was gang related or if it was a robbery spree. It didn't sound like any type of terrorist or mass shooting situation, but we'll see what's happening. We'll see what can go on here. Maura Kelly says 181 watching, only 75 likes. No worries. You guys could just hit that thumbs up while you're here now. If everyone's hanging out, do me a favor. I mean, I try to do what I can for you guys. If you can, please hit that thumbs up on this live stream. Share it out, talk about it, leave a comment down below, and I will catch up with you guys later. Ed Wallace is on a jet plane flying over to South Africa right now. So Ed Wallace is on his way to South Africa. We're going to send him positive vibes for a safe trip, and I hope we'll hear from him soon from over in South Africa. That should be interesting. It should be an interesting one. Thank you, Jocelyn May. I appreciate it. 7-Eleven, yeah, today. Yes, a lot of craziness going on. Thank you, Rihanna Evans. Much appreciated. Boxing MMA is here. Grandma Cherry, thank you for being here. Phil Leo, always great to see you. Sherilyn Schofner, Eddie T, Cat Lover, love and respect. Alicia B, Richella, thank you, Yarn Barf. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I'll talk to you soon. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. DP Info Miss, good to see you too. Holly Walker, thank you. Miss Donna Marie. Melissa, thank you. Thank you. Kristen. Oh, Joey Brooklyn's here. Lulu's Treasure, thank you. Sonia, Doodlebug, Lee Perry, Dawn Marie, Nikki Bella, Monica Stevenson. I love all you guys. You guys are what makes this a great place. I'm telling you, without great people like you and so many others, this wouldn't be such a great place. So I want to say special thank you to all of you, the replay viewers. Reese, good to see you. This police chief should be put in front of a firing squad, says Crash Eakin. That's a bit extreme, and I don't agree with that, but thank you for sharing your thoughts and your opinions on that. Again, we all are pissed off, and I get it. South Africa, Gerda Coates is here. Great to see you. Southern Cal is here. Thank you for joining. Nancy Volke, thank you for being here. Man, I love all you guys. You guys are awesome. Awesome, awesome. And we have some of the best mods out on YouTube. We got the best community, the best mods. We have a win-win situation here. So I will speak to you guys soon. Stay safe, love and respect. And as Ed Wallace always says, watch your six. I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love from DutyRon.